So, YP or Youth Employment Program, what we do? We transform the lives of students, young students like you, to ensure that you have the right set of skills so that you become employable. In this context, we arrange, organize a lot of things like events, master classes, fireside chats, which give you career directions and help you build skills. On this note, today our session is on interview readiness. Excuse me. So, this is something that we, seniors to you, have already crossed, a pathway that we have already crossed. And I assure you that this is not an easy pathway. The first interviews of life, first 5, 10 interviews, you go through a learning curve. And this curve is not easy. The learning continues till the very end of your career. It's an ever learning process. So, what we will do today is to ensure that we prepare you as much as we can for these upcoming interviews that await you. These interviews are the gateway to your career, and they can very well give you advantages, open doors which can build your career. They can open the doors for big opportunities. So, on this note, I would like to hand over you to our guest speaker for this evening. Uh, and she is a very experienced person, a talent development professional from Tata Consultancy Services. And I would like to welcome Ms. Priyanka Pine, who's a faculty with TCS Talent Development Team. Welcome, Priyanka, to this session. And I would also request to the audience, all of you, to ensure that you are asking questions. We will have a dedicated question and answers window. Apart from that, the speaker will also be interacting with you. Make the most of this session and ensure that you get the skill you deserve and make the most out of this session. Over to you, Priyanka, and we look forward to a very engaging session.
Thank you so much, Devushubro. Good evening, everybody. I hope I'm audible and visible. Yes, great.
I cannot,
I haven't started sharing my
I
screen
cannot
yet.
see you, Priyanka. I'm sorry. Yeah, now I can see you. Now I
Okay,
can see you.
okay. So I haven't started sharing my screen because I wanted to take a moment to do a little quick activity before we began. But before that, good evening to everyone who is present. I see more than 350 of us here. I am logging in from Kolkata, and I work in talent development where we are looking at, I'm a faculty and a program owner for many programs in the leadership development area. And I also happen to be an interviewer for the HR rounds for many interviews in TCS. Whenever I get time, I do actively take part in interviews. So I hope to be able to help you today to understand what interviewers are particularly looking for and what you can do to get more prepared when you sit for your interviews, right? So this is going to be very interactive, and I would like you to interact with me. We will open the lines for Q&A towards the end because there are too many people. It might not be possible to interact one on one, but if I ask you questions, or if I ask you to let me know your thoughts, I think the chat is active, so you can definitely use the chat. And if I would like to hear you, I think I can ask Ashok or Devashubra as the organizers to unmute. Is that okay? Ashok and Devashubra? If they need to speak,
Yes,
they
yes.
can, right? Yeah, okay, great. So we'll begin with a quick little activity like I do for all my training programs. I'm going to launch a poll on your screen, and I would like to know uh, your inputs over there. I think you should see it. It's a very simple thing. What is that one word that describes what you feel about interviews? What is that one word? It can be excited, scared, nervous. Any feeling? What is the feeling you get when you the moment you hear the word interview, that you're sitting for an interview? What is that one word? Are you able to see the poll? You can please put it on the poll, then we all can see together. Okay. We are getting a lot of responses. Okay. Nervous, I think, is a very, very common word. Out of 33, almost, I think, more than 17, 18 have said nervous. Okay. Showcasing the talent, scared, nervousness, grooming, anxiousness, more negative words than positive, but that is very normal. I mean, whatever you're feeling at this point in time, that you are a little scared of rejection or scared what will happen, whether you will lose the opportunity, it is very, very normal. And it's something that all of us feel also when we sit for interviews, even though we are more than 10, 15 years of experience, and we have had innumerable interviews. And once upon a time I was at your place, sitting for my first interview, and today I take interviews for people, how the tables turn. But the whole idea is to first validate what we feel. This anxiousness and nervousness is very um, okay. So I want you to first understand that and accept it. I'm glad that you're actually talking about it. But then, whatever nervousness, scared, tensed, whatever you are, it should not show here, and it should not show in your voice at all. That is the first thing that we need to do when we sit for our interviews. Okay. I will stop the poll. Thank you very much. I think I got some idea about what you feel. Let me just quickly stop the poll. Otherwise, it's going to just continue coming, um, on my screen. Just give me a moment. I will also project my screen. I hope you will be able to see. Just let me know if you're able to. Okay. Just give me a moment. Let me project my screen. You can put your hands down. We are not interacting at this point in time. Let me first begin the session. I will interact with you. Okay. Devashubhru, are you able to see my screen? Ashok, are you able to see my
Yes,
screen?
yes, yes, Priyanka.
Yes?
Yes,
We
Okay,
yes.
can.
okay, okay. Great. Thank you. So, we'll understand some strategies for succeeding in, global company interviews. And for us to understand that, first, it's very important to have a little bit of idea what the next, approximately 30 minutes is going to cover. We are going to understand a little bit about how we see interviews, because whenever we think of interviews, we feel that okay, it's just that somebody is going to be on the other side and trying to really understand my skill set. Now, i'm I'm under the impression that most of us who have joined us on this call, you're going to be appearing for your first interviews, and I'm assuming that you do not have that much of experience with you. So you might be thinking that as a fresher, what is it that I will, showcase? Because it's only my education that I have, and I don't have actual knowledge that I can show. But it's very important to have a combination of confidence, awareness, structured thinking, and practical preparation. These four are very essential for you to take up any interview. So when employers assess you, basically, they are not trying to see how much you have scored in your papers. What we are trying to see when we interview is how are you able to communicate? What is the kind of attitude you have? Are you going to be the right kind of fit for my organization? Is the culture, as in not your cultural background, but your values, your system of working, your thought process, will it match my organization's level? So suppose you are very laid back, and you're very, you have not done anything in terms of any internship or any courses, and you have just gone through the normal standard courses and papers you have. And I am a very aggressive, I come from a very aggressive company who looks at a lot of knowledge, what other things you have done. So for me, when I interview you and I see nothing else in your CV, it is a direct misfit for my organization. I make an idea that this boy or girl, he or she has not done anything extra. He had 16 papers or she had 16 papers, that's all that she appeared for. In this era where you can, do so many courses, free, paid, anywhere you can do, at that juncture in time, and there are so many things in AI that is going around. If I don't find you doing a course on that and you're applying for a post where that is very important, then there is a misfit. Okay. I'm not saying you have to do it. I am just trying to explain you where the misfit happens. Okay. And it's just not the technical knowledge that people are looking for, because as you start your careers, yes, your technical domain area or what you have worked on is very important. But then that is not something that you are going to do lifelong. You are going to grow in your careers. You are going to move. Today you're a fresher. Tomorrow you will. You are today you're reporting to a team. A few years later, people will report to you, and then you will grow in the ladder. So if you're just a very good person in the technical area, that is not enough for you to grow. That is also checked, right? So when you sit for your interviews, it's very important to understand that this is not an assessment, this is not an examination. Okay. It is a kind of assessment, but it is not an assessment that you write your papers on. In a university exam, you need to have right answers and therefore you get the right scores. But in an interview assessment, there is nothing as perfect answer or this is the definition of the answer. What is really important is how clearly are you being able to answer the questions, how confident are you when you are interacting, and how well structured your answers are. And this confidence and this structure comes in from a lot of practice. So if you look at batsmen who are established batsmen, let's say Virat Kohli, he didn't become Virat Kohli in a day. Sachin Tendulkar was not made in a day. They all practiced. So the more practice you do, the more mock interviews you kind of attend, the more you record yourself when you're talking, the more you keep practicing some standard questions that you may get, the more confident you become, right? So you have to think of it in that way. Also, what is very, very important is, as I had said before, a fresh graduate does not have a lot of things to talk about except for what you have been doing in college, your project, your any internship if you have done. So it's important that you focus on those areas and try to bring that out in your interviews. And also, it's very important to understand that multinational organizations or big global companies, they have a very standard process. Okay. Usually it is same. It is just not TCS, but any other organization which is global in nature will have a standard process. And today we will tell you a little bit what kind of questions and what kind of process we are talking about in some time. So it's a very systematic approach, right? So if you know the system, then you will be better prepared to tackle the system, right? So it's important to understand that. And as I was saying, that there are certain things that we must understand in the next 30-40 minutes is, firstly, how the hiring funnel happens. Okay. So right from the first step to the last step, what is the expectation when you are with each person who is evaluating you? Usually, in an interview, it will be a panel. You will not be interviewed by one person. There'll be at least three people who will be interviewing you, if not more. Okay. So, there are individual focus areas for individual people who will be interviewing you. They will all most likely be sitting together. In TCS, it is together, and they will ask you questions one by one, and we will learn about it in some time. That is another area of understanding, that there are three people, as I said. One is from HR, one is from the managerial perspective, that's called MR, which is managerial round, and the other one is technical round, which is TR. So there will be three people who will be sitting across the table, and you will be on the other side, and they'll be asking questions depending on which area they come from. Like I told you, I'm from HR. So I usually ask HR questions. I also take managerial rounds as well. So I ask MR questions as well. I'm not a technical person, so I don't get into that. There is another person who takes care of technical. We will look at some common interview questions today, some typical answers I would like to know from you, and we will try to understand how to get that answer better, or what was the problem with the answer you gave, if there is a problem. If you give me a very good answer, great. But if there is a problem with the answer, we will understand that why was this answer not great and how to make that answer great. We will do that a little bit. And we will also understand certain tips and techniques, some strong responses and why are they strong, some weak responses and why are they weak, and certain tips to make you feel a little more confident, and certain interview etiquettes. Right? I hope my pace is okay and I'm not going too fast. Um, are you okay with the pace? Can you give me some thumbs ups? Can you just write on the chat, all okay? I hope you don't want me to slow down or anything. Okay, you're raising hands, so I think there is a thumbs up. Just write on chat, okay or not okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Let me proceed then. With the first step, you all can please put your hands down, otherwise, we won't be able to understand. The first thing to understand is how MNC's hiring works. Okay. Usually, first is, of course, your application stage where your resumes are given and the resumes are screened first. Right candidates meeting the minimum criteria, certain keywords are fit, and alignments are done, certain skill sets people are looking for. If all of that matches, your CV gets selected. The second process is usually some online assessments or some written tests, where you will be checked on your aptitude, verbal, logical reasoning, and certain domain specific. You may be asked to write a code depending on what is the area of interest you're doing. Some assessment criteria has to be fulfilled. And once that has been done, then you approach the next round, which is where you're appearing for a face to face interview or a online video interview. So this is where you have the technical round and the managerial and HR rounds. So in TCS, uh, depending on the experience you have, like I have interviewed freshers, those who are just who are in their campus recruitments. For them, usually the TR, MR, and HR rounds are together. Three people, one panel, and people are interviewed. Sometimes for experienced profiles, the technical round is done separately and the managerial and HR rounds are done separately. Also, for some freshers, I have seen the same. It depends on the number of us, no, number of people who are applying for that job, the technicality. So if the technical requirement is very heavy and you need a laptop and an actual live code to be done or something like that, then the TR or the technical round is usually kept separately. But for most of the cases, TR, MR, and HR happens all together. Now, to understand why are these three people interviewing you, one person also could have interviewed you, would have been enough. But then the whole focus area of these three people are very, very different. A technical person is going to assess you on something else, a manager will look at something else, and an HR will look at something else. So to understand that in more details, I'd like you to draw your attention to the focus areas in your interview. And that is your first step where you can prepare better. If you don't know why you are being questioned or what is the question you can expect from HR or MR or TR, then how do you prepare? So the first thing is to understand what are they checking for. And the moment you know what they're checking for, you can align your answers in the same way. Right? So each interviewer has a distinct purpose, right? That is the purpose we need to understand. Okay. So first we'll start with HR focus. HR is looking at an overall professional attitude from you. HR is going to see your dressing. HR is going to see how you speak. HR is going to see whether you have a pleasing personality, whether you are, you can work together with people, how is your communication skill, whether you are a reliable person, whether you are a genuine person, you're not making up anything, right? Because at the end of the day, when you are going to join an organization, it's, you have to align well. If you are not a people person, if you cannot work with people, you cannot work in the long term, right? um, the manager or the managerial round, or the person who checks for that, would assess whether the candidate can consistently perform in dynamic team environments. So when you work in a team, you have to demonstrate teamwork. Because you're working with people, you may have conflict. How do you resolve conflict? um, are you someone who has leadership skills? Can you take initiatives? Have you done something out of the box? Every time that you're asked questions, how eager are you to answer them, right? And there will be some challenging questions also from the managerial and HR perspective as well, more so from the managerial perspective. And how well you are being able to handle pressure at that point in time. That is also something that will come out in the way you answer and the way these questions are probed. And last but not the least, I'm also assuming that most of you have a technical background, and therefore, obviously, you will be checked for that, right? What is your conceptual clarity? Okay. Nobody is probably going to ask you to write a huge big answer or essay over there, but conceptually, how clear are you? Do you have that logical reasoning? Do you have that structured thinking process? Um, so, technical interviewers often value structured thinking over memorized answers. So, see, when you were applying for your university assessments and you were writing your papers and your exams and your, whatever studies you have done, we were all memorizing answers and we were going and reproducing the same answers, right? But here in an interview, the how well you can memorize the answer and share is not really seen. It's seen that how clear you are in the concept and how you're able to explain to the other person, right? So these focus areas, the questions you will also get, we will check you on these various areas in different ways. Okay. Also, usually the questions will not overlap. So if it can begin with some generic questions which falls under the HR category. We will talk about those in some time, and then maybe TR will come, MR will come, but nobody will come and tell you. Okay, the interviewer panel, three people will not say that I am HR, I am MR, and I am TR. Nobody is going to tell you anything. You can expect anyone to ask you anything, but then these are the areas that they are going to check. You will automatically understand when the moment you get the question, you will understand that who is from where, and it should not matter to you who is from where. What should matter to you is that you now know that there are three distinct areas where you will be tested, right? And these are what people are looking for when they are interviewing you. I'd also want you to know that okay, Abhi Lipsha is saying that my voice is breaking. Is that so for everybody? I hope you can hear me. Just write yes or no on the chat. Yeah, okay. So Abhilipsha or anybody, if you face any issues like screen has frozen or you can't hear me or something, please drop off and rejoin. That most of the times works. Okay. At any point in time, whatever questions you get, please write it somewhere in your notepad. Don't put it on the chat right now. Otherwise, we will lose it. Just write it in your notepads. We will open for Q&A in about 15 minutes. Then you can ask whatever questions you have. Okay. So let us now quickly move on to the different kinds of interview questions that you can get. All right. So let's begin with HR now. So HR typically will look at communication, attitude, your awareness, professionalism. We spoke about all this before. And usually, very typical common questions from HR would be, tell me something about yourself. This is a universal question. No matter what your number of years of experience are, this should be the first question that you should expect. Hi, Ashok. Good morning. Please tell me something about yourself. This is the standard thing that you begin with. Okay. You can get questions that speak about your strengths. Tell me something about what are the three strengths that you have? What would you call your weakness? Okay. Why should we hire you? Why do you think we should give you this job? Why do you think you're the right fit for our company? These are also some questions that you can expect. Okay. Some typical answers we will discuss in some time. But again, these are not answers that come as a standard. So you cannot memorize these answers and reproduce them. I will just share you certain ways of answering that can help you. But obviously, the understanding is that you're not going to, mimic it. You're going to learn it and then modify your answer the way you would like to reply. But certain techniques like this present, past, future, or strength, example, result can help you devise your answer better. So, for example, if someone says, "Tell me something about yourself," you say something about your present. What have you done in your past? And what do you want to achieve in your future? You should talk about give an example where you use that strength and what happened as a result of that. The result. That should be impactful. If someone says weakness, you cannot say like this that I don't have any weaknesses. Everything is my strength. That will immediately turn off the interviewer because there is no such person who cannot have a weakness. All of us have weaknesses. But then, if weaknesses are asked, don't give a list of 10, 20 weaknesses you have. If you're giving three strengths, one weakness is fine, or maximum two. Okay. But don't say three strengths and three weaknesses. Okay. 3:1 is a good ratio to have. All right. And make sure the weakness is not very, very, big. As in fact, I have had an interview and I asked a young college person who was in the fourth year, I think, in engineering in a college. I was in a campus interview and I asked, tell me some strengths and weaknesses you have. The person said that, I'm very strong and athletic and I am a good team player. But, my biggest weakness is that I cannot keep my calm and I have anger issues. So the moment the person said that, I was like, okay, anger issues, can you explain? And then he went on to say an incident where he kind of beat up a few people in a college fest or something like that. And ultimately he was rejected. From my end, I had given a no, that we cannot take somebody who openly says he has anger issues, right? So whatever weakness you choose, try to have a weakness which will not impact your work so much. Okay, so you maybe can say that, I really like watching OTT content a lot, and but what happens is most of my weekends go in that. I wish I could use some of my more leisure time for uplifting more skills, which I plan to do. So I have enrolled myself in some course, something like that, which is not so negative but can show into a strength eventually, right? um, Also, HR questions are generally very high level questions. They will not ask you very deep questions. Tell me who is there in your family, what do you do, how do you spend your time. All these questions, no, not necessarily. More high level questions that give an overview. And immediately once the floor is open, you will expect MR to come and TR also will eventually come. All right. Um, let's focus a little bit on the managerial kind of questions you can look at. So, as I said before, managers would look at responsibility, conflict, decision making, teamwork. And for all of that, what's important is questions like, can you give me an example which has shown how you have handled conflict? Maybe this is a question from the MR. So, you can even choose a situation from your family, or say something that you have done in your maybe in your society where you have handled conflict, or some situation on the road, whatever. See, because see, your experience is not there, right? If you would have had an opportunity to work in an organization, you would have been able to give some examples of how you have done that. But since that has not happened, you can take examples from your college, your internship, your project, whatever works. In fact, from your family also. That is also okay, right? Um, what's also important to understand here in the MR round, there is another technique. Like I said, there is a technique for interviews. This technique is called the STAR method. STAR: situation, task, action, and results. This you can apply in the HR questions also, in any question for that matter of fact. Not technical so much, but for MR and HR, this framework will work for both. What is the situation you are in? What is the task at hand? What is the action that you have produced? And as a result of which, what is the result you have brought? Okay. So maybe for example, a conflict situation. You said that, there was a very big deal about, a dog biting somebody in my neighborhood. And there was a very tough situation at that point in time. So I took it upon myself. I arranged a meeting in the community, got the people involved, and I tried to make liaison between everybody and ensured that the dog was vaccinated, so that there is no infection. And also, we all contributed to getting people fund the injury for the poor man, and as a result of which, today there is no such challenge. The dog also remains in the society, and people are much better. We have in fact identified the reason, and that is how the conflict was resolved. I use the STAR method. If you have noticed, I told you a situation, what I did was the task, what was the action I took, and what was the result. Okay. So this framework works for both, for managerial and HR rounds, as I told you. Um, and usually MR questions check how can you work together, what is the sense of responsibility, and certain tricky questions can come in managerial round also. That if I tell you to choose between these two locations of work, which one will you choose? One will be your hometown, and one will be maybe a tier one city. Okay, so whether you are more inclined to expose yourself, or whether you are a more home oriented person, that can be checked. But it's not that if you say that I want my hometown and I don't want to go, it will go negatively. It will not. But then you can always say that since I'm stepping out into the world, I would really prefer to be in the comfort of a place I know, but then I'm very open to all opportunities. So wherever you put me, I'm okay with both. This shows collaboration. This shows the fact that you are open. This shows the fact that you are very clear about what you think, right? So these kind of tricky questions also come in managerial rounds. As freshers, the level of trickiness is, I would think, is a little restrained. It's not that much. For professional people who have experience, tricky questions are more. But you can also expect some, questions like these, which kind of don't have a straightforward answer, right? Now, technical questions will be very much from your core subject, or areas of your interest, or what you have done, your project, your internship, what you have done, what kind of things you want to do, what is your future like, what do you want, what you are interested in, etc., etc. So it may happen so that you get a question. Okay, so maybe they've asked you to write some code or something, and maybe you are not able to do it. Maybe you don't get the right answer, or you are stuck somewhere. Don't think that it will go against you. What interviewers are trying to see is not that if you know the right answer or not. They're trying to see your logical, how you're solving the problem, rather than what is the answer. So if you don't know something, you're stuck somewhere, they will appreciate the honesty with which you speak and say, what, I tried, but I don't think it's working today. Usually it does. I think I'm a little nervous, so it's not working. Can I try something? This will show that you are proactive. This will show that you are not nervous. You are owning up to your challenges, and you are open, right? But if you're stuck and you're just doing it on and on, and wasting time, that will probably go in all possibilities. It might go against you, right? So technical rounds um, I would say in your case, when you're interviewing, if let's say you're interviewed for 10 minutes, there can be a healthy mix of MR, HR, and TR. But usually for freshers, I think TR would be an area that will gain more time. It will take more time. It's not that there is a definition that the weightage is 30, 30, and 40. It's not like that. The weightage depends on situation to situation, but I can tell you that all of them are important. So if you are really good in your technical domain, but you are not a people person, you don't know how to speak that well, you're not being able to express yourself, then you still don't get through, right? So you have to be able to take care of all the three elements, right? So as I was talking about certain sample answers and explanations, this is where we just need to assess a little bit about what kind of answers would be called as strong, and which ones will be called as weak. Okay. So let's understand certain weak answers. Okay, first, because if you don't know what is weak, then you won't be able to know what is strong. Um, Now, weak answers are those which are generally very unstructured and generic. Okay. And they lack relevance to the job. So I'm asking you, what is your favorite color? You tell me the sky is blue. And my next thought is, do you like blue? But you never said that. You just said that the sky is blue, right? So questions which don't have that relevance, which are not being able to match, they would be qualified as weak. I'll give you some examples later on. Strong answers, on the contrary, would be very structured, they would be relevant, they would be confident, and those which can align with the skills and goals that people are looking for. All right. Now, why are we saying we want structured responses? Why can we not have generic good morning, my name is Priyanka, I am so and I'm this and this? Why are we not wanting that? We need to understand that structured responses help create this positive impression, and it highlights strengths. This is where you kind of distinguish yourself from others, right? So it's important to have structure in the way we answer, even questions which are generic. Tell me, see, the interviewer who's asking that question, tell me something about yourself, is interviewing 20, 30 other people on the same day. How do you stand differently than what the other 19 people have said? That is where you first create an impression. This is the first opportunity for you to speak. This is where your impression will lie, right? I'll give you examples to make you understand better. Let me move on to some MR related areas which can be strong or weak. In MR, weak answers would not have details. It will have, tell me its strengths and weaknesses. Okay, I'm strong. I have leadership skills and I'm a good team player. You have given me my answer, but you haven't told me how do you have these, where have you displayed this? Nothing. So it's, for me, it doesn't make a difference. You just said one, two, three. That's it. So if you want to make a difference, then you use the star method that I spoke to you some time back. You explain the situation, tell the task, what is the action that you took, and what is the resultant action that the result that you got. Now, why we want to talk about this in this manner? Because strong responses will highlight the maturity that you have. Yeah, you may not have experience in working, but definitely you are all mature. You have had some exposure in your lives, and you have written your exams, you have passed, you have certain qualifications, so definitely some maturity is there. And that maturity shows when you speak, right? Similarly, in the TR round, if you just, if you get a question to which you don't know an answer, just saying that, I'm sorry, I don't know, can cause a negative impact. And it's a weak response. You cannot just abruptly say, I don't know. Rather, you can appreciate the fact that, okay, wow, this is a really nice question. Okay, I think my screen sharing just disappeared, isn't it?
Right, Priyanka. We can't see
Yes,
your
Okay.
yes.
screen. Yeah, but we can see you.
Okay. But I am no more an organizer, therefore I can't present. Ashok, can you make me the organizer?
Uh, oh, I have already made you organizer
But it's
before.
not showing me. I am an attendee now.
How is it?
It's changed, so I can't share my screen.
Let me check. Let me check.
Yeah, okay. So while he checks, as I was saying, that, yeah, we will unmute the mics, Chelsea. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll unmute it right away in about 5 minutes. And this is a good area where we can unmute actually. Ashok, let me know when you are able to make me the organizer, then I can share. I'm not looking at the
Sure,
screen
just a
anymore.
minute. Just a minute, and mic is enabled for them. But once we are ready, then we will take up the questions.
Yeah, okay. So I wanted to share my screen because this was important for you to see, but let's see when we get that. I wanted to also tell you certain areas and decode why these answers are not great and why how it can be better. But anyway, some of the
Yeah,
best practices that I can share when you go for an interview. Okay, I think my screen sharing is back. Let
yeah,
me
Priyanka.
share
This
my
is
screen.
enabled. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, great. I think your mics have also been enabled. It's very important that you all keep your mics muted at this point in time. Lower your mics. We will open for Q&A in about 5 minutes. So just hold on for then. Put your hands down. We'll try to take as many questions as possible. These are some of the best practices that I can share with you. Firstly, do your thorough research about the company. Which company, what do they value, what are they working on, who are the clients? Very important for you to know. Prepare and practice, something which is also this training is a part of. um, Maintain a lot of composure, speak very clearly, speak softly, focus on your clarity when you speak. Also demonstrate your enthusiasm, that you are eager for this job. Okay, and this is important, because if you are very demotivated, it will show, someone has forcibly sent you for the interview, versus where you are very excited to come and join the company. There is a difference between those. If you are, in the virtual setup in an interview, or even if you are in face to face, it's important that you have a very professional appearance. Groom yourself well, wear good clothes, where you look professional, right? If you are in online setup, your background, your audio connectivity, your preparation in terms of, testing the audio video, all of this should be done. If you are in an in-person interview, reaching the venue at least half an hour, 45 minutes before time, making sure that you don't go in sweaty and sultry. Have your food, look energetic, don't be nervous, be very calm, and have a lot of confidence when you go in and talk. Some more quick closing interview mistakes would be, you know, don't give very long answers. Okay, this is not an exam like you write in your, university or colleges. Give shorter answers where people will not get, bored of listening to you, or you are unable to, finish your own thoughts. Short is good, not extremely short, but like 30 seconds, 20 seconds is fine. If you are failing to explain something, then try to bring in some examples to help the person understand. Don't go for very over rehearsed or AI generated speeches. Okay, AI language is very clearly understandable by everyone. So if it is not you and it is AI, it will be very evident. So try to refrain from that. You can take the help of AI for your preparation, but do not, copy paste that information, as in don't say the same thing. And don't stop and shy away from asking questions, because many times interviewers will tell you, do you have any questions? It's okay. The ability for you to ask questions will also signify the strength that you have, the confidence that you have. That's also very important, right? So I think on that, I will draw it towards a close. I wanted to show you some quick things, but I think I'll first have a few interaction, or maybe I'll show it to you and then start the interactions. Um, what is very important is to understand that interview is not your university exam. So you are being assessed on clarity, attitude, and your potential, rather than the perfect answer, or getting 100 out of 100. Structured answers, positive communication, examples, these are very, very, very important for you to succeed. And confidence is not built in a day. You will take some time to work on your confidence, and it will eventually happen. Okay. I think now is a good time for us to open the questions. And I think some of the things I wanted to share will also get answered through the questions. So let's take the questions. Do you think that's okay, Ashok and Devashubra?
Yes, Priyanka. We
Yes,
have
yes, sure.
Great.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So let's take the questions one by one. I see many hands. It's very difficult. Um, okay. So maybe Ashok and Devashubra, why don't you
Yes,
coordinate with
yes,
the
yes.
questions?
Sure, sure, sure.
sure.
So we can see Vaishnavi raising a hand. Vaishnavi, if you can unmute yourself. Vaishnavi, if you can hear us. Okay,
Yeah.
Vishal Kumar. Vishal Kumar, if you can hear us. No.
Or
Joy
anyone
Chelsea.
can. Anyone can.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yes.
Good
Is
evening,
this
ma'am.
Vaishnavi? Good evening. Good evening.
Ma'am, I'm Joy, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Joy.
Joy.
Sorry. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. I am
Ma'am,
also available. Vishal.
I have a question. Like,
Yes, yes.
what's an end of an interview? Interviewers often ask, like, what are your salary expectations? So we are freshers, right? Like, what is the best way to approach that question?
Okay. So before you apply for the job, you do have an idea about this, the salary, right? Or are you just going in without knowledge?
Yes, ma'am, we do have. Like, we cannot be like straightforward, like, this is what I'm expecting from you. Like, I want 15 lakhs. Like, that could be a little demanding, right?
See, the idea is not to undersell, not oversell. So if you already know that you are going for 5 lakhs to 7 lakhs, that is the package you can expect. Usually, that is the range, right? So you can just say that somewhere in the middle is a good way, where you can say that, I'm expecting somewhere around this. That's fine. They
Okay.
also, right? If it's a range of 5 to 7, you say 6.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's a good place. You're in the middle. When you're in the middle, you are not over asking, neither are you underselling. So
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
okay. There's
So we
nothing to be shy of. If someone asks you, I don't think there is any reason to be shy. You are sitting for the salary only, right?
yes,
So
ma'am.
yeah, it's
Correct.
okay.
So Priyanka, just a point that is many of the students are having no idea that what kind of salary they are expecting, and they're scared about it. So if you can keep some light for them also, how
So
they would
if they,
approach.
uh, I see, usually whenever by experience, people do have an idea. Now, if you have no idea at all, try to make some idea. Find out from your college, find out from seniors, find out from supervisors, check industry standards, go to LinkedIn, go to job websites like Naukri and other places, and see for the role that you're applying, what is the kind of salaries being offered at, from other companies and organizations. That will help you build an idea. If you're keen on giving an amount, if you still feel that you're uncomfortable with an amount, you can be a little modest and say, that it will be a great opportunity for me to join such an esteemed organization, and I'm sure that the policies, the HR policies of the organization will are at a standard level at which people from my level would get. So I am very confident that whatever I will be offered will be at par with the industry, and I'll be happy to contribute in an organization like that. So that means what you're doing is you're throwing the ball in their court and saying whatever is fine and fit, you share that, and that is okay. But if you want to quote a figure, that also is fine. You can. It depends on how comfortable you are. And if you don't know the figure, try to get the figure from the market. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Next question. Who was there? Whoever
Who is
wants to ask.
next? Yeah. Who is next?
Ma'am, can I ask a question?
Yes, yes. Who is this? Sorry.
Seema
See,
is me.
Seema. Yes,
Harshit.
yes, Seema. Yes. Hi,
I'm
hi.
asking if we are having our gap year, should we tell that during the time of introduction? Let them ask if they will ask.
Okay. So why do you want to mention it right at the beginning?
If you justify the gap year, if it's the long gap year, then
No, I mean, I think they will anyway ask you. You don't have to mention it separately because they'll have your CV and they will see it. The interviewers are very thorough in the CV check. Whatever, if there is a gap year, usually you will be asked a question. Are you saying that you want to say it right up front? Is that a good strategy? Are you asking me that?
yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Should we say at the time of the introduction or let it be? We should not tell it that.
See, the introduction is your first impression. If you are honest about what you're saying, if that is the thing, it's a good thought. But what I see it as, if I'm interviewing you and your first few words I hear from you is that I'm a BCom graduate and I have 1 year of gap in my studies, my positive thought process immediately stops and I focus on the negative. You're not hiding it. It is very well written in your CV, and you will get a question. And if you don't, after some time, if you don't get a question, you want to say it yourself. Maybe throughout the interview, no one asked you, which is impossible. But suppose hypothetically, no one asks you. At the end, they'll say, "Do you have any questions?" Then you say, "No, ma'am, I don't have any question, but I just thought I'll let you know. I do have a gap in that year. I thought it would be wise to let you know, and this is the reason why I had it." So that is a good thing that you are very clear about what you're saying. If you want to say it at the beginning, I would say that it's not required. It doesn't help. You can expect a question on that anyway. In the next 2 or 3 minutes, they'll ask you. The moment they turn the page, they will ask you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome. Next, who's asking?
Hi, ma'am.
Good.
My name is Tarun Patra.
Sorry, is that Tarun?
Yeah. My name is
Yes.
Tarun Patra.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I have the one question about that. How can we make ourselves stand out from the hundreds of candidates with the similar skills? How can we respond to the questions? Like in the situation, hundreds of skills, I have those different posts in the candidates. How can we stand out for ourselves?
It's a very, very good question. So, have you seen this that there are two people who appear for the exam? Like, how many of you were in college together in your class?
60 members, ma'am.
And you studied the same course? You wrote
Yeah.
the same assessment? How come all of you got different marks?
The way of the studying, they are just following the
So,
strategies to get the marks.
so the same thing applies for interviews. All of you are going to apply, but only a few are going to get selected. So when interviewers select, they don't select the person with the highest scores. Your scores are there, they are your added badges, but what is important is your mindset, your confidence, your attitude, your grooming, the way you answer the questions, the way you stand prepared in front of them. That is what is going to make a difference, and that is what is going to bring an edge about it. So it's the packaging, I think, that will influence a lot when there is a selection criteria. If all other things are standard, if I'm interviewing 10 BCom graduates and all of you have 70% in your as your marks, I will choose that person to who appears to me to be the most confident, the best orator, the person who can explain really well, and who has a pleasing personality. I will choose that person more. If TR gives the same rating to everybody, the decision comes on HR and MR to take. They will reject or approve. If from TR everything is like 5 on 5, and the ball comes to HR and MR, and you decide what we want to do, yes or no, then this is the criteria on which it is done. I think you wanted to know that.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you for giving explanation.
Okay, most welcome. Next.
Good evening, ma'am. This is
Good evening.
Tanveer.
Yes, Tanveer.
So, ma'am, I have a very basic question. It's basically about the CVs. So, we had a mock interviews at our university, and I had prepared a resume which was 1 pager and a CV which was around 3 pages. So, I got a feedback that nobody is gonna read such a long CV, even if you have a lot of experience. So, can you guide on this whether we should prepare only a 1 pager or can we keep it long?
See, I'll tell you the most amount of what should I say? Attention is on the first page. It's not that people will not read the next 2 pages, but will it be with the same interest in the next 2 pages? Will be determined by the first page. Like, have you seen a book, the cover, and there is a back area where a lot of things about the book are written? Have you seen that?
Yes, ma'am.
So the decision whether I will read the book or not, is it exciting me enough, relies on that backlog, right? Whatever is written on the back, it gives the gist of what is there. And if I like it, I will probably pick up the first prologue and read, and then I'll buy the book. The same with the CV. The more experience you have, the longer the CV will become. Um, but then let's say you have a CV of somebody who's 15 years of experience, it automatically will not fit in 1 page. It will be at least a 2-3 pager, if not more. But your first page should have the maximum things that you want to talk about. Here, if you have experience, all that should come before. The more experienced you become, your experience takes the first, and your education qualification goes for a backseat. It is usually present and then past that comes. But your present today is your education, so that will take up a big area. If you have worked somewhere or if you have done some internships or coursework, that should also be the first thing that you speak about. So I don't think there is a fundamental rule like the longer the CV, the boring it is. It is not that. But yes, it should not be a very stretched CV. So if it can be fit in 1 page, keep it to 1 page. Just because you want to show more, then you add more pages. Like remember when we used to write our answers in exams, people used to write really big and give so much of spacings to make the answer look, I've written a 3 page answer, but the answer could have actually fit in 1 page. So don't do that to your CV. Crisp CV is good, but if you need more pages, go ahead and add. Don't unnecessarily extend the CV. So depending on what you want to put, you put. There is no standard rule that a CV or a resume should be so many pages minimum. It is not like that.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, you're welcome. Next. Okay, we are running out of time. I can just take the questions for maybe a few
Hello,
more
ma'am.
minutes.
My one question.
Yes.
Ma'am, my question is, should I include my 10th and 12th details in the resume? Yeah, I mentioned my graduation enough.
If you are not an experienced person, as a fresher, your 10th, 12th can add some value. The more experience you get, you can start omitting those.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Next
Can I?
question.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am. I wanted to ask actually two questions, very short ones. First is I have a 2 year gap. After my 12th, I was a NEET aspirant. So when I'll be going for an interview, the interview will ask for why there is a gap in that. So how should I answer that? So that it doesn't seem like I have, like changed streams or something. Like it doesn't go in a negative way. So how should I answer that?
Changing streams is not a negative thing at all if you have enough of justification to explain the same. So some people take up some courses because it's their parents' will, or some people, take it up because I want to try it. If I don't get, then this is a backup option. But this backup option should not apply and show. If you say this is a backup option, you won't get the job. But if you say that, I wanted to genuinely try that, but soon I realized that it was something that's taking up a lot of my energy and space, and maybe I was, I wanted to change my stream. I also found that something I did not, I wouldn't have been probably able to pursue for a long time, and therefore I decided to change, which is fine as long as you
Okay.
can justify the change.
Yeah,
See,
yeah. Okay,
negative
thank you.
in one way it is negative, if you compare it with someone who has had the same thing, but if you can justify yourself, I think it's fine. In fact, I have changed my stream, so it's okay, and it's fine. You can change your stream.
Okay, okay, thank you. So, my next question is, like if we are going for a bigger company like, say Google or Reliance or that kind of company, and we are sitting for the interview, alongside us, there will be students from the top colleges of our country, right? And we are like, sort of college wise, we are below them. So there is an idea in the mind of the interviewer that, like, they get a positive idea from the starting that they are from a better university, so they will be a better candidate. So how should we compete with that? Like, how should we stand out in such situations so that we don't get, ignored or kind of that?
Your articulation will break the notion, no? So if I'm expecting from an IIT or or maybe some person from the top college of India, I already have an expectation that I'm going to get the best. So I'm thinking in that way. But let's say I'm going for a tier two city, a backward, a so-called backward college, or somewhere which is backward in the list, and I think that I won't get the right talent here. But then when I start interviewing and start interacting, that notion can be completely, what should I say, changed, right? The moment you start answering, it can change. So apparently, people may look like, what will the person do, but looks can be deceptive, and you cannot judge a book by the cover. You need to at least read the book a little bit to understand.
So is it normal the interviewers are neutral in a way, or they like,
See, I cannot say that everyone will be neutral. The way, like, all of you are a little nervous before you will sit for your interviews, same way interviewers may have some kind of notion which is already prefixed. But at least those who are in the interview panel will not discriminate basis the educational background or the economic background or any background that you come from. They may have certain things in mind, but that will not influence the criteria for selection. At least that much is for sure, especially for big companies. Not
okay,
everyone will be in a panel. Okay, there are thousands of HR, thousands of MR, and thousands of technical people, but not everyone will be in a panel. Even when interviewers are selected, they are selected basis certain skills they have. So, like for example, my area of work is training. I train people. I conduct leadership development programs. But then I am also an interviewer. Whenever I get time for certain special projects, I'm invited for interviewing, because for such situations, maybe my requirement is there and I fit certain requirements that people have. So tomorrow, if I want to go and become an interviewer somewhere, just because I have an HR tagging to me, it is not true. Not everyone has interviewing skills. So you can be rest assured that the people who will be interviewing you may have preconceived notions, like Nadeem says, but that will not influence the selection criteria, because
and
it is not one person who's deciding. No, three people are there, and then
yeah,
again it will be checked by some other people also. So it's just not that your destiny is on three people only.
yeah, okay, okay,
One
thank you.
person may still be indifferent, but other two people will say that no, it is wrong. If a person is good, we'll take, irrespective of the university.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, just one more short question. Like, the internships we talk about as freshers, we only have experience through internships, right? So we have two kind of internship, offline internships or remote work. So the work we do as remote internship, uh, is it as good as the offline one, or it is like less accepted by the interviewer? Is anything like that?
Nothing of that sort. It is
Only the
internship
work
is
matters.
internship.
Yeah.
The work, what you have done, how well you are able to explain what you have done, that should matter.
Okay. Yeah. Okay then. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. I think we have ran out of time. I will take one last question. I'm sorry if there are more questions. Maybe we have to look at this in some other way, but I'll take one more question. Whoever, so please go ahead. Also,
Good
while we
evening,
are
ma'am.
asking
Hello, ma'am.
questions, sorry, just a moment. While we're answering questions, I'm showing you certain sample answers on the screen. I hope you're taking a look at that. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
I am a open source contributor, so I mention it in my resume or not?
What do you mean by that? By an open source contributor?
Should I mention like my achievements in resume?
Yeah, I mean, what have you done? What is the achievement you want to talk about?
Like I contribute in open source projects. Like if there are any issue, I raise issue and solve it.
So what is wrong in that? Isn't that good?
Yes, it is.
So yeah, if it's something that's adding to your experience, why not? But then you can also, it may backfire in the sense that a company may not want to take somebody who is working parallelly in other places. So you should say that I used to do this as a part of learning and skilling myself, but now since I'm looking at a full-time job opportunity, I will obviously not be contributing anymore as an open source contributor, and I'll focus on my organization and the work that I do. That's something that you may want to call.
And just to add to what Priyanka said, see, open source contribution is very good and it helps you with your skilling as well as experience. But be prepared to answer questions